All right, so we are live. We are live again this evening to have another beautiful conversation that is about money. I know a lot of people like money, we like money, especially those of us who are in business. We want money, we need money to do a whole lot of stuff, to expand our business, to start our business. And looking at what has happened in the landscape, or what is happening in the landscape, or what's happening around us so far, we've seen individuals who have raised money. You hear them talk about millions of dollars. I mean, they never talk about thousands of naira, hundreds of millions. It's always $1 million, $2 million, 5 million, $100 million, and they keep raising. But the painful part sometimes is that it looks like now Nigerians are, I don't know how to say it, but it looks like it's becoming a a gimmick or a strategy somehow. And so they raise tons of money and then they declare bankruptcy and they want to go start out another business again. But we're not looking at that point. We're not looking at where people do these things, for games. We're looking at how can genuine and credible business people raise money. Because from what I'm seeing, my two conclusions are there is money that's available. Secondly, there are individuals who have this money. They just are looking for where they can put this money into viable and businesses that have structure. And so that's what the conversation we're going to be having this evening. How how do you raise funds for your business? How do you raise funds for your business? There's money available, but where do you see this money? There are individuals who have this money. How can we connect to them to be able to raise money from them? And so this evening, I will be having this conversation with a great guy. His name is Many Blessing, Blessing Many, sometimes Many Blessing, who is going to be sharing with us how to raise funds for your business. And please, if you're joining us as usual, share this live stream. Go invite as many individuals to be part of what we are doing this evening. We are streaming live on LinkedIn, on my Facebook page, on my Facebook wall, and on YouTube channel at the same time. So invite them to be part of this live stream. Tag them in the comment section to come join. There is money that is available, but how do we get access to the money? How do we connect with individuals who have this money? How do we present our viable ideas? How do we structure our business and to be able to provide um, the reasons for individuals to invest in our business or provide the funds to help us to run our businesses. And so, if you're joining us, let's know in the comment section where you're tuning in from. If you're in Nigeria, of course, this thing concerns a lot of Nigerians. I don't think it concerns foreigners because. But if you're in Nigeria, yes, let's know where you are tuning in from. Already, I can see Jaye placing a comment. Go and tag 5 of your friends, tag 10 of your friends, tag 20 of them. Let them come in and have this conversation with us. Blessing Mene is available right now. He is here to have this conversation and to teach us what we need to do to be able to access funds for our business. Blessing, you're welcome.
Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much, Shamika.
Welcome.
I'm
Okay,
blessing
so
the town.
wasting, without wasting so much time, guys, Blessing is available to teach, but let's know where you are tuning in from. As I said, share the live stream. There's a share button beneath the screen. Share this screen, sorry, share this live stream so that as many individuals can watch this conversation and it will be a blessing to them. All right. Because as I always say, we don't want people who are broke and poor around us. The more prosperous people that you can have around you, the better for you. All right. So go and tag your friends, tag them, invite them to be part of the session, and let's have a great teaching this evening. All right. Thank you so much, Blessing. So I'm going to hand over to you. Introduce yourself, share with us your history, what you've done, businesses you've helped, and how strategic ways that we can position our businesses to access the funds that we need to build our businesses. I'm here with my notes. I'm also writing down because me, I need money. right? I have five businesses now. I need money to be able to expand them. So over to you. Thank you, Blessing. Over to you now.
Hello, thank you very much, Don. Exciting to be having this fantastic session with you and everyone listening in and who will be watching this video even after now. Today, we want to talk about how to raise funds for your business. I made a post today on Facebook where I said that everybody has a vision of what they want to do or they have some form of dreams. Um, and but not everybody has the ability to raise the capital that they need to make that dream a reality. And so today I want to look critically into sharing with you some wisdom that can help you navigate your journey around how to raise the monies that you need for your business. Once again, my name is Mene Blessing, and I am the founder and CEO of VetSac. At VetSac, we're working to help farms and agribusinesses raise capital, and we do that by securing loans from banks that we then use to finance farms. And then I also run an academy called Fundraising Academy, where we teach people how to, raise capital for their businesses. So over the last couple of years, more than 10 years, year on year, back to back, I've won multiple international awards. I've won both grants, equity, and loans for my own business and for other organizations that I've worked with, um, both in Nigeria, across Africa, Europe, and the United States. I've actually won multiple awards, and by God's grace, I've been fortunate to compete against some of the strongest teams in the world, including guys from MIT, Harvard, and co. So listen to me. I know what I'm saying, and I my hope today is that you would gain a number of things that would give you or inspire some form of mastery in your life. With that being said, there are a number of things you can do to raise capital for yourself. I believe that you already understand why that is important. I want to talk about mission, message, strategy, research, writing, pitching, and winning. Okay. The first six things I'll talk about today would give you a very solid foundation. But the last thing I will share today will help you win. There are two types of people. There are people who compete for financing, and then there are those who win financing. And I ask you to listen very carefully because winning is really very important when it comes to fundraising. I'll start by saying that fundraising is a very critical skill. I believe and I'm persuaded that it's among the top three skills that every leader must have. You must know how to fundraise money, you must know how to be able to sell and market your product, and you must be a great leader in order to run a successful organization. So fundraising remains among the top three skills you must have if you want to generate income or money for your organization. Now, over the last couple of years, especially when I work with as an either as an investor or I'm pitching for funds, the first most important thing that we look at for is the mission. The mission typically talks about it's just like you're watching a movie. Every American movie or even Nigerian movie nowadays has like a mission. What the actor is trying to accomplish. Usually, there is this big problem you're trying to solve, right? And then you put together like a plan to solve that problem, and then you create like a product that helps you solve that problem. So the mission is very critical. It helps us understand the problem you're trying to solve and how you're solving it. So typically, when you're trying to raise money, um, I have come to realize that funders, investors, love to finance people who are targeting really big problems within society. So this would range from, so I will just give a few examples. I work in the field of agriculture, and as we already well know, hunger is still a big issue right now across the African continent. People need to be able to eat the right type of food. Some people don't even have access to food. So typically, these are multi-billion-dollar markets. And so typically, if you build a food solution around, or it's if you develop a mission around feeding people, you typically would win a lot of funding. So that's really critical. Electricity still remains a big issue. Africa sometimes is called the dark continent, not necessarily because we don't have electricity, but due to a lack of knowledge. So electricity is still a big problem in the continent right now. So any idea or any business that aligns itself with like providing some form of solar energy or some form of alternative electricity, um actually will do well. I was recently in a meeting with a number of investors in Europe. That was just about a week ago, and I was listening to an entrepreneur pitch um a fantastic solution. And the idea was really about, they've developed a technology that has the ability to extract oil from the air, and so they're proposing that like as some form of alternative to palm oil, granite oil, and some extracts from crude oil. And for me, it was really mind blowing because this is the same air you and I breathe. And someone has, I think years ago, I knew there was a company that developed an innovation around extracting water from the air. So they condense the air, and then water comes out. And you know, having people now extract oil from the air is just like mind blowing. And I know that company is going to be a unicorn. It's going to be a multi-billion-dollar company if the founders execute on what they have said. So they've actually built out the prototype of the machine, and they've actually produced um, oil out of that. So investors are typically excited about those type of ideas. Um, Women is also a big market. Any product that targets women, or engages women, sells to women, does well. Another market that is really big is old people. Across Nigeria, across the world, there's a growing population of people in their 70s, in their 80s, but people are not designing solutions to these problems, or to this specific market. So anybody who comes up with some form of innovation around that will do very well. So typically, you want to be on a mission like James Bond or someone trying to solve a big problem. That is what pulls in your funder, pulls in your investor to want to be a part of your organization through financing you. Another critical sector that always does well is health. People want to invest in health because health is a big issue, especially when you look at the pharmaceuticals, and all that. Health remains to be a very big issue. Now, so we're moving to the second point, which is messaging, right? Now that you've developed you've identified the problem you want to solve and how you want to solve it, one of the things that is game changing is your ability to communicate clearly. Your ability to communicate clearly. It will surprise you to know that many people have fantastic businesses, fantastic ideas, fantastic inventions, but they don't know how to communicate clearly. Just because you're an expert or you're a scientist or a very important person doesn't necessarily translate into your ability to communicate in a very simple way that people can understand. So messaging is critical. And I would say that when I personally look at for messaging, the first thing I look at for is clarity. Because to me, it means that you understand what you're saying, number one. Number two, you have some form of mastery, because it takes mastery of a topic to be able to communicate it in a very simple to understand language. The next thing I look out for in terms of communication is brevity. Brevity, which means you're able to communicate the most content with as few words as possible. Okay. Had a presentation to a number of investors and banks today in Europe. That was just this morning. And one of the things I did, if you looked at the slides I used, one sentence, two sentence slides. I don't need to make it look like an ebook. my presentation was over Zoom, and it was really simple background, simple words. But by the time I was done, one of the people on the call who happens to be um, leading or have led a major food multinational, she wrote to me. She was like, "Listen, your communication was very clear. You were knowledgeable. You're an expert. We trust you. You spoke with so much credibility, and all that." And for me, I was kind of excited, but I know because I took our time to prepare my messaging. So you want to make sure that when you talk to people, you don't talk too much. Number one, you keep your messages clear. Number two, number three, you want to make sure that you speak in the fewest words possible so that you deliver on your impact, or you deliver the impact of your message. The third thing to really um, do well when you're trying to fundraise is to have a strategy. And I think this is where a lot of people miss it. A lot of people, and I can boldly say that over 95% of people miss strategy. Um, so I think Emeka was talking just a few minutes ago about how that some people set up startups, they raise money, then they shut it down, launch something else. A few months later. One of the things these guys know better than every other person is strategy. That's just the truth. So what baffles people is like, how did this guy raise X million dollars? Run down the company and then go set up something else. It's because the guy understands how fundraising strategy works. So, how does fundraising strategy work? Fundraising strategy works like someone who is writing a movie script. You're watching a film on Netflix, the film has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Your ability to understand each component, is what makes you the director of that movie. So people, when you're trying to raise money, it's not just, oh, I'm trying to apply for $50,000, $100,000, 100 million naira grants or or equity investment. No, that's not how to fundraise money. You need to break it down into simple steps. How much money do I need today for the next 6 months or next 9 months? You raise that money, and then with what you have achieved, you raise more, right? You keep raising. So typically, or ideally, if you were running a startup, you're supposed to be raising money every 6 months. Some people do it every 4 months, or and some people do it once a year. But you are supposed to be constantly raising money if you're running a startup. Therefore, everything must be staged. Unfortunately, people have learned the wrong set of people have learned strategy, and they're using it to scam people. So my encouragement to you, if you're listening to me today, is that if you do not have financing, you don't have a rich uncle or a rich auntie, please learn fundraising strategy. Put it to work so that genuine people actually raise funds, right? We want to see more good people raise money for their NGOs, for their businesses, for their startups, so that we can have more companies running, more products in the market, we can have more jobs created. Every time I hear the sad story of a startup that has shut down, I am always sad. I'm always sad because it's destroying the ecosystem, But then the people who are genuine, like yourself, you need to start raising capital. You need to be raising millions of dollars. And the cool thing with fundraising is that you don't need to have an uncle and auntie. You don't need connection. If you are good, you are good. You raise the capital and then you go execute on what you need to do. So you don't need any special connection. You just need to be excellent at fundraising. And so this is part of what I dive deeper into at Fundraising Academy, which starts on October 8th. Now, the fourth point I want to talk about is research. And I was thinking a few days ago about the fact that people want something, but they don't they are not curious enough to try to find what they're looking for. And no wonder Jesus Christ would say, if you knock, the door will be open. If you search, you will find. You know, uh, People are looking for funds to grow their businesses, but the reason they are not getting it is either because they don't know how to raise funds, is because maybe they are asking the wrong set of people, or they simply don't even know where to start from. And so if you are this type of person, what you need to learn is to learn how to research for funders, right? So how do you research for the right type of funders? It's really simple. You write down, for example, um, you clarify your mission, you clarify your message, and then you categorize yourself. What do I mean by that? Oh, let's say I run an akara business, for example, in Lagos State. So my company produces akara and sells it by the world, and I want to make it a startup, for example. What do? I categorize myself clearly. Number one, I state that I am an agricultural company or a foods company. I introduce some form of tech that helps me scale either my production or the distribution of the products that I am making. So if the tech is a software, then I classify myself as a software company or an agri-tech. If the tech I've developed is some form of hardware that fries 1 million akara per hour or something like that, then I classify myself as a hardware company under the agricultural sector, And then my company is based in Lagos, Nigeria, which is under Africa. So with these TV indicators, I can then go search. Then the fourth thing I need to do is to also clarify how much money I'm looking for. So maybe I need just 50 million naira, to take the business to the next level. So with these four data points or this four information, I can then go on platforms like crushbase.com. I can go online on LinkedIn. I can tap into investor databases and search for investors that meet my specific criteria, and then I write down a list of maybe 100 to 200 investors that I'm targeting, and I move on to the next phase. What do these guys want? I identify the specific documents, traction, results or due diligence information that they want to see, and then I move into the next thing, which is preparation. So this brings me to the fifth point. Point number five. I want to read today, which is preparation. Preparation. It's surprising that people want to harvest, but they don't want to prepare, right? Like someone said, people want to go to heaven, but they don't want to, die first. So preparation is really like, calming down, right? It's what every great thing goes through in order to become what they are. Seeds have to die first, they get buried, they die, and then they germinate, new life comes out. In the same way, when you want to fundraise, you need to prepare. So, which is a season of quietness, a season of putting in place the right foundation for your business. You want to pitch to these investors, they're asking for a pitch deck, or for grant donors, they typically would ask you to submit maybe a proposal of some sort, right? You want to take out time to prepare those documents, right? So one of the things I teach at Fundraising Academy is how to prepare those things, and even how to rate them. Because the people who win, they write in a specific way, they speak in a specific way, they think in a specific way. So I try to teach some of those things. And so what I can say to you today is, because we can't cover everything, is that you need to really learn the importance of prioritizing preparation. The people who prepare the most, typically they can predict the outcome of their fundraising, right? Just like a couple of months ago, I was raising money for my company, and someone was like, "Oh, how are you sure you're going to raise the money?" Because I set a deadline. I gave myself 2 months. I'm going to raise X amount of money. It was actually a lot of money, in millions. And someone was like, "How are you sure? Why are you putting deadline? How are you sure?" I said, "Yeah, we've done the preparation. We've talked to the right set of people. We're going to raise the money." And actually, we closed our fundraising 2 weeks before the deadline, which was like mind blowing for myself and my team. So if you have done your preparation properly, the next most important thing is pitching. So up and down, you're going to see pitch competitions, every year. Uh, so people who win pitch competitions, typically they don't win on the day they pitch, right? They win before the pitch. Was it Sun Tzu? He wrote a book called The Art of War. And in that book, he said, victorious warriors, defeated warriors go to war to seek victory, while victorious warriors win first before they go for battle. That's a very deep deep thought if you think about it, which means people who don't win, they go into competition, they go into fundraising, hoping that they are going to win grants, they're going to win this loan, they're going to get this equity funding. They are hoping. But the people who are successful, before they take a step physically, they already know 100% that this is the done deal. And so, from the position of victory, they pitch. You needed to have watched me this early this morning when I was pitching. I was pitching. You know, yeah, this guy knows what he's saying. He knows what he's doing. And typically, pitching, part of it has to do with confidence, and confidence comes through knowledge. When you're doing something genuine, or when you have knowledge about your topic, you can, like, somebody can wake you from the bed and you can speak. So pitching is really critical. There are different tools you need for pitching. You need like a pitch deck, you need a proposal, you need like a Q&A which contains a list of potential questions that a potential investor or donor is going to ask you. And so, again, you need to be prepared, you need to rehearse your pitch, you need to know what exactly you want to say. And pitching also has a lot to do with part of what I talked about earlier when it comes to messaging, clarity of thought, saying the fewest possible things to have the most impact. Now, after you've done or put these things in place, the last thing you want to do is to win. And this is where I will share a number of testimonies, especially for myself. One of the grants I won a couple of years was the Google Impact Challenge, $250,000 grant. And this was, I think the award was in Lagos, yeah, and it was presented by the wife of the vice president of Nigeria. And for me, I think it's been almost like 4 years winning that grant. And one of the things I really loved about winning that grant was that before I applied, I knew I was going to win. And people were like, "Oh, how are you sure? How did you know you're going to win?" Oh, it's a lie. No, I knew. There are several reasons I knew. First of all, late December, I think the program was announced in February or March, forgotten. But in December, my pastor, I was having a conversation with my pastor, and it was like, "Oh, Bro Oris, I have this revelation, that that 100 million naira is coming to you. Like 100 million naira is coming to you." Like, he doesn't know how, but this is what he said. I was like, "Oh, really?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Okay." So my heart was open, right? And so I was already, my spiritual antennas were up and all this. And so I was scanning my environment and looking out for corresponding opportunities that match with that. So it turns out that about 2 months later, Google published this grant program in Nigeria, and the prize money was $250,000, which is equal to 100 million naira. So I knew that that money was mine. And the reason I'm sharing this testimony or going into this detail is so that uh, some of you on this call will probably be going to church or mosque and all those things, and people are praying on your head. You're going to prosper. You're going to do this. My brother, my sister, if you are not scanning the environment for external projects that will bring that your spiritual prosperity into physical prosperity, it's going to be a long time. You pray without seeing the manifestation of your dreams. So when you are told that you're blessed, you're this, you're that, you need to rake in the harvest by coming up with a project or having a bigger plan or vision for your project or your business, and all that, so that you can pull in the necessary financing you need to take you to the next level. Winning. The second thing I want to teach you about winning is something that happened years back. I can even share multiple testimonies, but there's one that is critical. That was my first international award back in Washington, Seattle. The reason why this is important is because by winning that prize, it gave me a framework, a blueprint, a secret formula, a source that I have been able to use over the last couple of years to win multiple awards. So in that award, I had to compete against teams from Stanford, Harvard, and then there were some guys from India and Bangladesh. We all met in Seattle, Washington, at the University of Washington, and we needed to compete. So I think there were like 2 or 3 African teams, and in total there were 15 teams from across the world. Um, and I can tell you this: this was like probably 12 years ago. Back then, people were already building apps, doing I can take that for sure because I competed with people who had those technologies, and that was part of what they were presenting. One of the guys from Florida even had a robot built, and like they brought the robots to site, you know. And so it was the name of the program, just in case you want to verify, it's called the Global Social Entrepreneurship Competition. And so I was participating in that program, and so 15 of us were there to pitch. One of the things I quickly detected was that I told myself, I came from Nigeria, this guy is from Harvard, Stanford, and co. But we all have equal chances of winning, right? Yeah. So that was the first thing I told myself. The second thing I told myself was like, I'm going to give this my best, and all that. So I took out time to prepare my speech, do everything. And most importantly, I took out time to pray. And the reason I mention this is because to me, winning is really about doing what you should do and also trusting in God to win so that your success can be sustained. And by God's grace, went in there and pitched. 9 people got knocked out. 6 of us made it into the finals. Got into the finals, pitched again, and the judges were like, at the end of the day, 100% of the judges voted for me, and I won the global prize, number one. And that was the first and only time an all African team ever won that global prize. Then the team that came second was a team that had guys from India and Singapore. They combined to form one team. Then the team that came third was the guys from Asia, from Bangladesh. They came third, and it was a fantastic win. And so that gave me like a blueprint, on how to win these programs, which has lasted and continues to last for my entire life. Okay, so I believe that these 7 points I've shared has added really good value to your life, to your thoughts. And even if you're an expert already, you're listening to this, to what I'm saying now, the things I've said, you would have benefited something. For those of you who are not experts, the things I've said would have touched you in one way or another. And one of the cool things with listening to me or participating in my training programs is that if your ideas, maybe you are discouraged or you're down, you don't know what to do, and all those things, you will gain life when you listen to me. You gain life. I will share a testimony of someone. I think we just had a meeting. So I think we're going to publish the video probably in about a week. So he came to my facility in Delta years back, where I was teaching people on how to farm black soya flies. And so USAID, Nigeria, PIN Foundation, that was Chevron Foundation, and a number of other stakeholders, they came to my facility in Delta, so I trained them. So there was this guy, fantastic guy, who had a facility. He had a big facility, somewhere in Nigeria. But, the facility was down, it wasn't even running. It's been shut down for, a couple of years due to debt and other issues. But did you know that this guy came in for my training? He said that as he heard me speaking, as he heard me teaching, his dreams came back to life. That is something money cannot pay for, right? His dreams came back to life. He suddenly began to see how to make his dreams a reality. This guy was serious. He picked it up, and then he set up a new company. Right now, they have a facility in the US, one of the most thriving facilities in the US. They are even outperforming unicorns, people who have raised millions of dollars within the sector. Like, I'm telling you, I know a company that raised over 100 and something $1 million. These guys are performing them. And guess what? He has not raised $1, but his company is thriving. Right now, they've set up a branch in Nigeria, and they currently have one of the large. I think they're probably among the top 2 or top 3 insect production firms right now in Nigeria. They're not making any noise anywhere. And the reason I made mention of this is that small things have the ability to grow. Don't say because you're running an Akara business or your business is an SME. No, I believe with the whole of my heart that God wants everybody to prosper. I believe that if we receive the favor of God into our life and we plan and walk towards it, we learn from experts the right thing to do. We're going to make our businesses and our organizations prosperous. Okay, so these are the things I have for you. I'd like to just wrap up by saying that I want to take out this time to invite you to participate in Fundraising Academy. Fundraising Academy will change your life. We've got 5-star rating all through, and the program is highly affordable. I'm telling you that. Just 10K. However, you're going to learn a number of things. Everything I've taught you today, you're going to learn. But more importantly, I'm going to sit on your head to make sure that you clarify your mission, you clarify your messaging, you have a strategy defined, you learn how to research, for investors, you learn how to at least write a simple proposal, and you learn how to judge a good proposal from the others, and then you get the opportunity to actually pitch. And I give out small prize monies during the programs, which include a full refund of whatever you pay to join the program. Because I want people to experience, what it feels like winning. And then even after the program, I take out time to share opportunities. So right now, I'm nominating folks for a major international organization who is going to be providing free grants to selected nominees. So I'm one of the people making that nomination, and I just went to alumni. So I'm only nominating people who are alumni of the program. So that just to say, beyond what you learn, I do my best to see how to help participants actually raise capital. I'm super excited about what I'm doing because this is my life calling. My life calling is to bring people and organizations into financial and economic prosperity. So everything I do is really about that. My company, VETSAC, is about helping the agricultural sector prosper. So we specifically target farms and agribusinesses and provide them funding, not grants, funding in loans, right? So that they can use that money responsibly, increase their income, and bring economic prosperity to their homes. That is what I do with VETSAC. So for VETSAC, VETSAC is not just a business, but it's part of my life's calling. Fundraising Academy is also part of my life calling because it is about helping people genuinely understand how fundraising works. That is why I don't charge big amounts of money because for me, I already have money. I don't need your money to be rich or something like that. I already have money. So I brought down the fee so low. I prayed about it and all that. And that amount, 10K, is the amount that we charge, right? So even though the value is worth much more, but we just charge 10K to help people afford it so that you can come in, learn how to be a part of the program. And we don't have anything extra to sell you. So don't be worried, say, maybe he has something he's going to sell that's more expensive. No, I don't have something to sell you. I just do that, and I do that at my free time to help give back to the society and to help give back to the ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been good speaking with you. I would like to take questions from maybe Emeka, Nobis, the Don, or from the audience. Cheers.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Blessing. So, guys, he has shared with us the process, the strategy to be able to make this happen. Do we have questions? He has spoken for 40 minutes. Do you have questions? Yeah, Blessing, before the questions come in the comment section, can you exhaustively tell us about the academy? How long is it going to run? Is it broken down into sessions? I mean, is it online? Is it physical? Are we to come to your house and stay and you give us food? Tell us about the tell us
Ah,
about the academy. Yeah.
the Don, on top, thank you. Hey. Okay.
We need to know.
uh, okay. The academy is a 2 weeks program. Okay, it's a 2 weeks program. It costs just 10,000 naira. and the program is 100% online. 100% online. So what I have done is that I've broken the program into two parts. Okay. The first part is recorded videos. So I send out links to those videos. I upload it on the platform, so you get a username and password and all that. You get a link to view the video. So typically the videos are not more than 15 minutes, so you can watch them any time of the day. Okay, that's the first part, and then uh, towards the weekend we have live classes. Okay, so these live classes happen through Zoom. Okay, where you're able to ask questions, and all that. Then we also have something we do on our WhatsApp channel, which typically we call a town hall. So what happens is that um, I give assignments. All right. So I'm going to ask you, for example, okay, I will teach you how to identify funders, and then I'll give you an assignment to identify 5 or 10 people who can invest in your company, and you have to report back on that. I'll teach you on how to position your organization in terms of your messaging and all that. And I would ask you to submit an actual work you've done with regards to the organization you work for, and then I'll review it and give you direct feedback. So this is what I try to do during the live sessions. And then even after the program, you still have access to the videos. Like the last class we did, I gave them access to the videos for like, I think 4 to 6 weeks. So they also had access to it. That was after the program had ended, just in case some people are going to say, "Oh, I'm very busy. What if I am unable to catch up?" Something else you should know is that who is this program for? This program is for you if you're an entrepreneur, if you have a business, either a small scale business or a medium scale business. So I have had people who have participated in advanced program like Y Combinator participate in the program. And the reason for that is because Y Combinator teaches them how to raise money in terms of equity. What I teach primarily is how to raise money in terms of grants. So people join the program to learn how to raise free money for their own organizations. Then what other type of people can attend? So you can attend if you are in the field of finance, if you work for a company where you feel like you want to add more value, and maybe by learning how to raise funds, you can bring more value to the table and have higher negotiating power with your boss. Because the more value you add to the company, the more you get paid actually in terms of salary. So you can learn this skill to add value to the company you're running or you're working for. Then the third set of people that this course is for are people who run organizations, right? Maybe you run non-profit organizations, you run a church or NGO or something like that. Yeah, and you're always looking out for funding to finance a non-profit project, then Fundraising Academy is for you. Then maybe the last set of people who I really don't target so much, but I ask them to join if they can, would be, you just want to learn a new skill to improve your life, either as a student or as a graduate. You can come be a part of it and just learn how to raise capital for yourself. The program starts October 8th and runs through to October 29th. So please try and apply for the program. Another thing you should know about the program is that you can use your mobile phone to join the program. To listen in on the live sessions, you can use your mobile phone to do that, and maybe even to participate in some of the assignments. So just in case you do not have a laptop, if you have a laptop, good and fine. But if you don't have a laptop, that's okay. We speak in English during the program, okay? So you will not hear French, you will not hear any technical jargon. What I try to do is to remove as much technical jargons, from the program so that you can understand what I'm teaching during the program. For our live classes, we use Zoom. So all you need to do is to install Zoom into your mobile phone or your laptop in order to be able to join the live classes. Now, what does the curriculum cover? Specifically, I teach you how to discover grants. I teach you how to identify different types of grant opportunities and how to find them. I teach you how to conduct effective market research to identify grants that are promising enough, for your organization. and your idea, for those of you who have not started something yet. Then I also teach you how to win, how to develop a proposal, how to judge a proposal, because some of you here would probably have worked with a consultant in the past, and the consultant charged you a lot of money, but you don't know whether what they did was good or bad. Okay, so when you attend the academy, you would have an idea on how to judge an excellent work from something that is shabby. Something else I try to teach is how to tell your story, how to be able to communicate your point in a way that people can understand and buy into, so that you actually get the funding that you need, to succeed. I teach you about how to set up like budgeting, so because most grants will ask you about how you want to use the money and all that. So I teach you about that, and then I teach you how to there are sometimes you apply for grants and then you get rejected. You don't actually win. So what do you do when you face failure? I teach you how to bounce back from that and how to get your first or second success story in terms of winning grants. So this, according to the participants who have participated in the program, they've scored the program 5 star all through. Got seen fantastic testimonials. So I ask you to join the program. I'm looking forward to seeing you.
That's a very exhaustive explanation. I mean, many of the individuals that I bring on my timeline sometimes, it looks like as if they have to look somewhere else to be able to give an explanation of what it is that they're doing. But I like the fact that we're able to do this. And so thank you so much. The final thing there is, how do we join the academy? How do we join it?
Okay, okay. That's a very good question that you mentioned. So there are two ways you can join the academy, two steps you take. Okay. First thing is that you pay 10,000 naira into an FCMB account number, which I published on my wall. I'll hopefully share it with American Novice after this too. It's 8989, account number 8900200756. Okay, that's the account number.
Say it again. Let me type it.
Okay, so 89
Okay.
double zero
Okay.
two
Okay.
00
Okay.
756.
756.
Yes, it's
Which bank?
FCMB Bank.
FDMB.
Yeah, FCMB Bank, and this will show you Blessing Mene slash Vetsac. Okay, that's what the name. Make sure it's my name. Okay. Then when you send the money, take a screenshot of the evidence of payments, either SMS or receipt if you use an app, and send that screenshot through WhatsApp to this phone number, +234 811 424 9942. So when you do that, what happens is that your payment is going to be confirmed by my team, and you're going to be added into our WhatsApp community. Okay, and then from there you begin to get information. So classes start on October 8th, so you literally have just a couple of days to apply. So make sure you do that.
Okay, somebody's asking, how do we reach you? Do we reach you via the same number?
Oh yes, you can reach me through that same number.
Okay, that's the number on the screen, 0811 424 9942.
Exactly.
Gospar is asking if there are provisions for payment in installments.
It's a good question, Gospara. If you want to do that twice, that's okay. Go ahead. But I think it's only after you've completed paying before you're allowed to join the class.
Okay, guys, I don't know if there are other questions, but how to pay is right there on the screen. Everybody can see how to pay on the screen. All right. Pay 10,000 into 8900200756 FCMB Blessing Money. Then send evidence via WhatsApp to 0811 424 9942. All right, guys. I don't think there are other questions. We have done 51 minutes so far.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Blessing, I don't know if there are other, if there are final words you want to give us before we wrap up for today.
I would say just a fantastic opportunity to be here to share with each of you, to inspire your dreams, to help you, you know, prosper in your fundraising journey. So I would say even if you don't join the program, just make sure that you actually raise cash for your business. All right. And if you do join the program, I look forward to seeing you and taking my skill set, taking my knowledge that God has blessed me with, and using it to support you and forcing your prosperity through. Okay. I'm excited about meeting with you guys, and I look forward to seeing you. Have a great day.
Okay. Thank you so much, Blessing. But I think before you go, there's something I wanted to say. I wanted to ask you, people like me who are in consulting,
Mm-hmm.
people like me who sell books. I don't know. I don't know what we did to those who have money and don't want to give us money. They say our business. I don't know. And then there's something about age also.
Mm-hmm.
Those of us who are above 40 now, I'm 43.
Yeah.
Seems that they don't want to give us funding. So, but those of us who are in consulting, what do you have to say before we wrap up? I know because I see a lot of people who get these funds. I look at Tony Elumelu Foundation. I see other kinds of grants. I mean, I'm always looking out to see if there's a consulting company that's been giving grants, or those of us who sell books, or those of us who write. I don't know. What can you say about that? I mean, are we not entitled to having monies as grants or
It's a really good question. I would say I always post on my Facebook that there are two ways money comes into a business. Number one is sales, and number two is fundraising. Right? Those are the two primary ways money comes into your business. So typically, for consultants, they focus a lot on sales of their products and services to either businesses or individuals. Right? So they are typically considered to be sustainable businesses. Right? And they also do not scale. Consultancy firms find it very hard to scale, very very hard to scale. So because of that, they are not attractive to funders, whether startup funders, whether grant donors. They don't typically consider them scalable ventures to support. However, if I was a consultant and I wanted to raise grants, I would then come up with a project, a project that can actually impact on people, and then maybe you need to consider the legal structure. So maybe you need to set up an NGO or your own startup, depending on what you're trying to do. And then that is what you then use to raise funds, not your consultancy firm. And by the way, consultants also have tremendous amounts of experience, which is attractive. Many times age is not a barrier when you're trying to raise funds. In fact, the older you are, when you're in your 40s and co, you are seen as a very credible person by a number of funders, especially when you're talking about big grants. Like really, I'm not talking of 50,000 or $10,000, $5,000. No, I'm talking about like big grants. They tend to, because you should have done business for 10 to 20 years. So that type of experience is attractive because you reduce risk in terms of the probability of your business or NGO shutting down is much more lower when you're older, right? Because you're thinking about your name, you're thinking about your legacy, so you don't want to take any stupid risks and all that. So funders tend to find that attractive at some point. And even for most startups that raise capital, they also many times have to add older people as advisors on their board, because it helps to reduce the risk, and it helps to increase the level of governance that the startup or business could face. So those are the two things I would typically do differently. And if you're really, 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 really serious about fundraising, then you need to have a project that is scalable, a project that can have impact, on a lot of people. But people don't want to give grants to individuals that would use the grants to generate money for themselves, because grants are meant to be charitable, for charitable purposes. So when you are a consultant, yeah, you write books, you speak, you do all those things, but people don't want to give you grants because they kind of feel like it's going to enhance your brand and it's going to enhance your product, and then that money in a way recycles back into your pockets, right? So it ends up in the same situation like we said earlier, where a startup shuts down. It's almost the same thing with a consultant getting grant and then channeling the money back. It's as bad as that, right? Because the money was meant for charitable purposes. So if you want to raise grant, you must have some form of project where you are not going to make money and you're going to actually spend on all the money. So let's say you wanted to train people on um, how to do sales or how to do marketing, right? You literally have to come up with a project that maybe is going to reach 5 or 10,000 people and all that, and then you have to demonstrate how you're going to spend that money, you know, on that training program, and you have to also demonstrate how you're going to measure impact, because you cannot just claim that you train people without measuring like the impact that the training had either on their income, on their ability to sell, and you have to then start going to other details of like how are you tracking that impact that you're claiming. So that is for grants. If you're trying to raise equity investment as a consultant, you must set up a business because that other investors can participate in. So what I find most times, especially either for consultants or knowledge teachers, is that the knowledge business is so profitable, like you're already making money, right? So you don't want to sell equity into that, right? Because it's almost like you're selling your profits, and all that. So if you want to then raise equity investment, you should have a completely different type of business, that can grow fast and scale big, and then something that requires actual money, and then you make that open for other investors to participate, and you separate it from your knowledge selling or your consultancy business. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. The final question, somebody is asking, are there special packages for students or preferences?
Oh no. No, the answer is no. As a student, let me let you know. As a student, I won. I think I won like 2 awards. I won one. The first time I went to the US was as an undergrad, right? Even when I tried, when I was doing my postgraduate, I even my university gave me money, to travel. I think I got about 400,000 naira back then. To they co-financed my trip to Malaysia for Startup Malaysia program, years back. So, in fact, as a student, you even have more, sometimes a lot more opportunities to either win small grants or win business and plan competitions and stuff like that. So you should even pay more, right? Even as a copper, back then, I traveled to South Africa. I traveled to South Africa. I traveled to Malaysia, and I traveled to California as a core member, participating in programs, just trying to raise capital for my business, and everything was paid for. So saying you're a student is not an excuse. And mind you, I did not have any financial sponsorship from anywhere, when I was doing some of those things. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Blessing. Thank you very
Welcome.
much for
Welcome.
what you have done this evening. So, guys, the ball is in your court. Go ahead, connect to Blessing, get the funds that you need, and make all the money for your business. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
this
Thank you, Emeka.
conversation. God bless you, and thank you everyone who tuned in. And I look forward to you having remarkable successes in your businesses.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
here in
you.
the city of Port Harcourt to you. Thank you, and God bless you. Goodbye, everyone.
Okay, bye.